In this podcast episode, Hannah Ritchie, a climate change researcher, discusses the current state of the world in terms of climate change, the challenges we face, and the potential solutions. Ritchie highlights the various existential risks that we are currently facing, such as climate change, nuclear war, and the rise of AI. She explains that these issues have led many people to believe that the world is doomed, as they see these problems as insurmountable and catastrophic. Climate change is a major focus of the conversation, with Ritchie emphasizing the urgent need to address this issue. She acknowledges that climate change is a significant problem, but argues that there are actions that can be taken to mitigate its impact. She points out that there is a broad spectrum between climate change not being a problem and the belief that we are all doomed, and that there are steps that can be taken to address the issue. Ritchie discusses the concept of tipping points in the climate system, explaining that while there are potential tipping points that could be breached, they may not necessarily lead to immediate and catastrophic consequences. She emphasizes the importance of understanding the gradual nature of climate change and the need for proactive measures to address it. One of the key concerns Ritchie highlights is the impact of climate change on heat exposure and agriculture. She explains that rising temperatures can lead to more frequent and severe heat waves, as well as disruptions in agricultural production, which could have significant consequences for food security. When discussing the efforts that have been made to address climate change, Ritchie notes that there has been progress in reducing carbon emissions, particularly in developed countries. She points out that the shift towards clean energy sources, such as solar and wind power, has been a significant factor in reducing emissions. However, she also acknowledges that there is still a long way to go in terms of achieving global emissions reductions. Ritchie addresses the issue of population growth and its impact on sustainability. She emphasizes the importance of providing a good quality of life for the world's population, while also being sustainable. She argues against the idea of degrowth as a solution to environmental problems, stating that it is not feasible or desirable to reduce economic growth in order to address climate change. Ritchie also touches on the issue of air pollution, noting that it is a significant problem that contributes to millions of premature deaths each year. She explains that reducing air pollution can be achieved through measures such as stricter emission standards for power plants and vehicles, as well as transitioning to cleaner energy sources like electric vehicles. Ritchie explains that deforestation is primarily driven by the expansion of agricultural land, especially in tropical regions. While deforestation rates have decreased globally since the 1980s, they remain high due to the demand for more food and agricultural land. She points out that the challenge lies in balancing the need for food production with the preservation of natural habitats. Ritchie acknowledges that increased CO2 levels can enhance plant growth to some extent. However, the detrimental effects of climate change, such as droughts and floods, can outweigh the benefits of higher CO2 levels. She emphasizes the importance of increasing crop yields and productivity to address food security issues without further damaging the environment. The discussion also touches on the alarming rate of biodiversity loss, with species disappearing at a faster pace than in previous mass extinctions. While some regions have seen success in restoring certain animal populations, overall trends indicate a decline in biodiversity. Ritchie stresses the need for conservation efforts and sustainable practices to protect endangered species and ecosystems. Ritchie addresses the issue of ocean plastics, noting that millions of tons of plastic waste enter the oceans each year. She highlights the importance of proper waste management to prevent plastics from polluting the environment. Initiatives like the Ocean Cleanup Project aim to remove plastic debris from the oceans and prevent further pollution, showcasing the potential for innovative solutions to tackle this global problem. The conversation also delves into overfishing and the rise of aquaculture as a sustainable alternative. While overfishing remains a significant concern, aquaculture has emerged as a viable solution to meet the growing demand for seafood. By farming fish instead of relying solely on wild catches, countries can reduce pressure on marine ecosystems and promote sustainable fishing practices. Ritchie emphasizes the responsibility of rich countries to reduce their emissions and lead the way in adopting low-carbon technologies. She praises China for its rapid deployment of renewable energy sources, despite still relying on coal for power generation. China's investment in clean energy technologies demonstrates the economic opportunities associated with transitioning to a more sustainable energy system. In discussing climate action, Ritchie underscores the importance of effective messaging and incentives to drive behavioral change. She highlights examples where economic benefits and technological advancements have motivated individuals and governments to adopt cleaner energy solutions. By framing climate action in a positive light and appealing to diverse audiences, progress can be made towards a more sustainable future.